Good morning, everyone. I'm Vince Lancy, and in today's market rundown, we have a full plate. We're going to discuss the debate in and of itself, as well as the implications for markets from here on in. We're going to discuss gold, silver, and copper as it relates to today, because today is what I would call a quad candle day, end of the week, end of the month, end of the quarter, end of the mid-year, possibly the second biggest candle in importance of the year. We also have a note to touch on from Michael Oliver on gold and how close we are to reigniting the rally. And that applies to silver as well. We're going to talk about PCE as well. We have a note from a bank on copper we want to touch on, a very special note from a bank on copper. And we're going to continue the conversation about gold and silver and MSA and copper at the bottom. But let's get to everything here that we can one at a time. While you're looking at the copper weekly chart there, something I'm looking at right now, let's go through the markets themselves. The dollar is 105.94, up 2. 10-year yields are 430.4, up 2. The S&P 500 is 55.04, up 17 handles. The VIX is 1236, up 11. Gold is 2234, up $7, continuing its rally off the lows, traversing the whole range. I love that. Silver is 29.33, up 34 cents. Very good. We needed silver to catch up after yesterday's move. Copper 440.72, up 7 cents. Surprising and encouraging. It's probably why silver has a little bit of a kicker today. WTI up 48, up 82.61. Natural gas 263, up 4 cents. Bitcoin down 18, basically unchanged at 61,600. Ethereum 34.53, up 8. And grains are all up. Wheat up 3.5 cents to 4 cents, 584. Soybeans up 4 cents at 11.53. And corn is straddling unchanged on the bid side at 414. Okay, look at these behaviors, and although it's not exact, it is about what you'd expect to see if Trump were president, meaning the dollar would be stronger. The the 10-year yields, I don't know, they should be lower, but that's a noise, 2 basis points. It's all noise, right? But it's in the direction of the right way. S&P 500 may or may not be stronger. It would be stronger, but not at the tech level. The VIX, I don't know what would happen there, but gold would be higher, silver would be higher, copper would be higher, and WTI would be higher. Natural gas, that's a crapshoot. Crypto, I don't know, and the reason for that is Trump's policies are going to be for lower interest rates and less fiscal spending, which is a different kind of inflation, so to speak. So let's get into that right now. Let's start the ball rolling. All right, tentatively titled "Debate Debacle and Gold's Big Day." Okay, as I said in the premium, we're going to discuss the special MSA gold announcement. That's Michael Oliver and one bank's insightful copper comments. I sound like Joe Biden today. Let me pause and take a sip here, and then maybe I'll get a little bit more energized. Thank you. I know that's rude to drink in front of a company, but we have to do that today. I'd like to start with, well, here's the front page. There's a free post I sent out last night, prep for the big day tomorrow. That is today, MSA. The report came in last night, and I wanted to prep everyone for that in premium, and UBS also weighed in on copper. Some more detail on that, and plenty of other posts informing you of what's going on. Okay, gold, silver, and copper. When will the copper bottom be in, and when will buyers return? Those are real questions by people who play in copper. I play in copper, but I'm not a player. The problem with copper has been, and I'll summarize it for you, has been supply. There's too much supply, and based on China's selling and China's simultaneously cutting down of of smelter activity. When will that offhang of supply slow down? And that's been hard to handicap. But most firms that study copper in depth have a good handle on that now. Now the question is, when will the demand return? And that seems a little bit more momentum oriented, which is similar to what's going on in gold and silver. So UBS has an excellent take on that, and we want to just touch on that a little bit here for you. Now, with regards to moving on to gold and silver, MSA, Michael Oliver, who, he covers many markets, but gold and silver are markets that he has a particular fondness for, at least in updating us on a timely basis. And by that, I mean he puts out weekly analysis, which we subscribe to, and we share what we can in our metals with premium subscribers. But he also updates during the week when there's something significant. So you're not getting a report every day and you're not getting spammed, but you are getting something that shows that he's paying attention on a day-to-day basis. And his report that came out last night shows me that he's asking the same questions we are and coming to similar conclusions, although he's a little bit more precise about it than we are. Anyway, the bottom line, if you're in the cheap seats, is what will it take to get gold and silver out of their respective ranges? About $20 higher in gold from here and about 30 cents higher in silver. Gold is already on the edge of breaking out of its range. Silver, paraphrasing his words, is bottoming off of what is probably the end of a correction or consolidation, depending on how you look at it. Details will be at the bottom on that. About the debate debacle. Okay, that's a quote of myself. I just thought it was one of the things I said that were actually relevant. First, I just want to make a comment about the debate itself because I think it's warranted. There will be a lot of takes about the debate and who won and who lost, and you're not going to get those from me, although you can guess which way I lean. But I just want to comment on, my comment is geared towards what will happen not economically, politically, which will drive gold and silver and bond prices over the next 6 months. So, for example, if you are of the opinion that Biden lost, it's over, maybe Biden lost, but it's not over. It's not over by any stretch. And the question when you watch the debate is, if you're a gold person, was there more uncertainty or less uncertainty that came out of this debate? And I naturally said more certainty because Biden clearly lost, but that creates more uncertainty. And I'm going to touch on that right now. Okay. The circumstantial odds, this is about the Trump and Biden debate. I wrote this morning for us all. The circumstantial odds were against Donald Trump from the beginning. There was no audience, no one for him to play or to get energy off of. There were breaks and there were impediments to his ability to interject through microphone disabling, which in and of itself was interesting considering that they decided to do that now. This is not new technology. Again, these are all reasons to slow down Trump's momentum or status. Biden came out energized, but even at his most powerful, his rhetoric was vacant. As the night wore on, so did his rhetoric, more like his medicinal effects. Trump was patient. This is what was even more surprising to me. Trump was patient and avoided looking impulsive at the mic. He didn't take the bait. If he had talked with the mic off, he could have looked impulsive. He could have looked good, but he also could have looked impulsive. He showed, among other things, that with no crowd to play to, and that's an asset of his, he still had a command of the situation. He knew where he was and what he was doing. And I mean that in a marketing sort of way. And he did the right things without playing for applause. There was no audience. He didn't play to the audience. He knew why he was there, whereas Biden may not known if he was there at one point. At this point, seeing what we saw last night, it is as much a comment on Joe Biden's ability to command or lack thereof as it is on the deep states apparatchiks who need to keep their own power. These are institutions. There are institutions in the US government that will do anything to make sure that they don't lose command of their positions in society, whether it's Biden or Newsom or a potted plant that's in charge. They want to keep their power. This is not pro-Biden. This is an anti-Trump. This is a job security play that these guys are going through. Those institutions will not progress from denial, in the 5 stages of death, to bargaining, to anger, to acceptance. They will stay at denial and do everything they can to make sure Trump doesn't win. If that means replacing Biden in a hot swap, they will do that. If that means staying with Biden until they can do a swap at a convention, they will do that. They will do whatever the polling dictates that will keep them in power. But what they will do that allows them to stay in power, ultimately, they don't need Biden to win. They need Trump to lose. And that means if they were to do a hot swap, meaning trade Biden out for someone else before the election, say in middle of his term or 3/4 way his term, it would be someone like Governor Newsom. You can debate who it will or won't be, but the point is a hot swap between now and the election creates uncertainty by gold. A hot swap means Trump might not win. A hot swap means Trump has to change his platform. Someone like, we don't know what it will be. That said, do you want Biden's place, looking at a Governor Newsom or a hot swap? Do you want Biden's place if you're Governor Newsom? Do you want to inherit this train wreck, this slow-moving train wreck, I should say, that has run into a brick wall that is Donald Trump? That also creates uncertainty. I don't think Newsom wants this. I think he wants a clear shot 4 years from now. And I don't know what Governor Newsom wants. He's been pretty coy about that. Now, I have no opinion on it except to say that Newsom is saying all the things that a potential replacement would say in order to keep himself viable, but at the same time honor the party. He's a smart guy. Anyway, I think that we all know what we all see, or at least most of us anyway. And we all understand is that it's slowly dawning on the electorate of the left, the masses of the left that are loyal to Democrat candidates, that their candidate isn't viable. If their candidate isn't viable for the next 4 years, even denying that the last 3 years were a disaster alone, even ignoring the past, no sane person can look forward into the future and expect that if Biden were president, he'd be able to hold a conversation longer than 15 minutes with any world leader who will take advantage of him like a grandchild taking advantage of a sleeping grandparent in a chair who then raids the liquor cabinet. Child, okay, teenager. Let's not say child. I don't want to get in trouble here. So, Biden's your grandparent. You wait for him to fall asleep and you do what you want. There is no one in their right mind who will not take advantage of that situation. I don't care if it's Putin or I don't care if it's the angel Gabriel. That's why Joe Biden must be replaced. He must be replaced by someone who at least projects awareness of the situation, because even if the institutions that we have in power are controlling this country, and they probably are, and not the president himself, it's much easier for an enemy to divide institutions against each other than it is to divide a person against himself, a person of one will and one mindset. And that person is in command. Joe Biden is not in command. So, bottom line, this creates uncertainty. It may create certainty that Biden will lose, but it creates uncertainty going into the election. Will Biden be hot swapped? Will Biden be, cold swapped at the actual nomination, or however you want to call it? Will his replacement be someone who can beat Trump? Will Trump adjust? I don't believe this election will be done when the voting is done. I believe that the voting will be counted. I believe lawyers will be involved. I believe this could go on as long as to January 6th. I'm not being a pessimist about this. I'm looking at this as a contended election. if Biden or the Democrats or whatever sock puppet they put in his place wins, Trump is going to file state by state that something was wrong, right? And if Trump wins, Biden is going to file that he shouldn't win on some constitutional crisis. Okay, so or he shouldn't be inaugurated. There's a lot going on here. Anyway, so that's the debate. Okay, that's why, by the way, you want to continue to own gold. Moving on to market news, PCE. Goldman's note today says for traders. In the day ahead, there are a number of things to contend with. In the US, we get the core PCE prints, albeit they should be limited room. There should be, that's their typo, should be limited room for surprise after yesterday's data. Our economists are looking for core to come in at 0.13% month over month, corresponding to a year over year rate of 2.61%, which is in line with consensus. So all the banks are on the same page with inflation now, and they believe that barring a big surprise, it should not be something that causes volatility in the markets. Debate highlights, I'm not going to go through these, but these are, some of these are biased, but some of these are actually reports that came in from relatively objective viewers. There's the data. Premium, we're going to answer these questions. Stay with us. When will the copper bottom be in? When will the players return? When will the buyers return? What will it take to get gold and silver out of their respective ranges? We'll elaborate a little on this. Before we do that, I want to go to the charts, right? I'm in love with myself today, right? This is something we talked about back here, right? Identified the buyer on this candle, came back again. I thought, okay, maybe he's not coming back anymore. Buy. How significant is this? This has been the range of where people should buy it. And in between here and here, there should be buying. And this is the absolute bottom line in the sand. The fact that we traversed it going up in a volatile but orderly fashion, spiked, was slammed, traversed it going down rather quickly, and retraced the whole thing in 1.5 days, that's significant. That's not a bear market. I love that. Silver, I was less excited about silver. Now, I did move this line a little bit lower for the visual. I had the line like up here before, but I moved it lower for the visual now because I'm readjusting my ranges. Silver had a similar formation, except that I didn't identify the buyer here. This is more an important spot for me, as if you can see, it's like a hard line there. And silver, while it looks worse on this chart, not as good as gold, silver's above its 50-day moving average. Gold is below it. These sort of things, they balance each other out. And I wanted silver to catch up and get closer to the top end of this range before gold takes its next rally higher. Yesterday's action was weak for silver by comparison, but that wasn't a bad thing. I identified that on social media, on X. I said, near the last, say, 3 hours a day, you could clearly see someone buying gold and selling silver. Was it 2 people? Sure. Was it 15 people? Sure, but it doesn't matter. Taken as one big trader, people are buying gold and selling silver. And is that bearish for silver? No, it's bullish for gold. See, that's how we get these catapults wound up, that we get these 4% moves in silver from someone constantly selling silver so that they can buy gold for margin purposes. And then eventually gold takes off, and then silver goes, oh shit, boom, and it catches up. And that's where we're headed. Okay, stay with us. I'm going to go through in more detail Michael Oliver's note, as well as the UBS comment about copper, which I found very significant. Okay. Here we go, folks.